Oh, by the way, and I just picked this back up because I wrote the title down in my book because I'm finished the drama, and it just suddenly hit me. Who the heck were the Five Kings? This thing is called Five Kings of Thieves. Who are the thieves? And who the heck were the Five Kings?
It was bad. It was so bad. It was really bad. Why does so many of the Asian dramas do this? Why? Okay, so I'll do a walkthrough episode by episode after I'm completely done this whole thing. Five Kings of Thieves. Okay, let's pretend I didn't know anything while I walk through this. Episode 7. The martial art world does not take death seriously, I tell you. What on earth qualifies Zhao Jie to be the detective in a case like this? Yet, the MA world, martial arts world, does it all the time. Drop of a hat, the favorite is suddenly somehow qualified to be a detective of a murder case. What an incredible insult to the people that worked hard to get into that profession legitimately. All I want is for you to live happily, live a long, happy life, says the dad as his daughter sits there crying in misery over the future he is forcing on her. And then the manipulative weaponization of dead loved ones, by the way. Ooh, they're good at that. Like the whole everything surrounding her mom is too ridiculous to even touch. The whole way that her mother was brought up, the whole story of absolutely everything and how he's weaponizing it. We'll actually get back to this topic. That was one of the funniest face-offs in the martial arts show that I've seen, though. Kind of going backwards through the episode here. In the martial arts world, they love to do this. They introduce the characters that are going to be central in some kind of competition or whatever that's coming up by like you walk into the room, like I said this in the Mysterious Lotus Casebook. They do this all the time. You walk into the room full of renowned names in martial arts or whatever, and they're all just a bunch of pathetic show-offs. This was one of the funniest show-offs I've ever seen. But, okay. Episode 8. He knew nothing about the martial arts world until a week or so ago at most, and suddenly he is a martial arts world wound expert? And who even is this random other dude? And, yeah, great. Zung, or however you say his name. I'll call him Zed from now on. Turned into an utter jerk. I do not like how Zhao Jie is like a 180 person all of a sudden. Yeah, and suddenly all the families are friends. After that introduction of the wood and the fire, like, hate each other and they can't get along and all the rest of this kind of stuff that we had before, all of a sudden now the three masters just out of the blue are just working together and everything is perfectly fine, and this is how it is now. Short stories? This isn't even, I mean, this is worse in low budget, I think, but short story, whatever, like, they skim past and just completely skip over so many important things. It gets worse and worse the further the story goes. Episode 9, she was just fine until now. Like, literally, look at everything they went through, all through the first, like, 6, hold on, this is episode 9, everything they went through for the first 8 episodes, she was perfectly fine. She never gave any indication whatsoever that she was sick. And yet, suddenly, she's so frail and fragile that she has to stay at home. And yes, they're keeping her in there because they're trying to keep away from Zhao Jie. But all of a sudden they're like, oh, her health, and she's so frail and so sick and so fragile. I'm like, since when? Yeah, all the way up to this point, by the way. I have literally, I don't think ever watched a story where suddenly we're following just the guys and the girls out of the picture, and I'm not interested in the drama anymore. Like, I'll get into it in a second, part of why, but I mean, like, No, it was her that was making the show everything for me. So when all of a sudden she's over there trapped in the house, not partaking in the story anymore, I'm like, well, this is boring and nothing but irritating. I'm trying to go walk through order by order here. Am I your good buddy? I don't know. Is he? This random dude that shows up in the story is all of a sudden attached to Xiaojie, and like we never see Xiaojie without him again. He's just there, always. And I'm like, who are you? He's just an utter blank. Total utter blank. Who is he? He came out of nowhere. He's got no background, but he's always there. The good brother. Like, since when? Why? Huh? Who are you? And yet he remains like that through the entire thing. He just shows up out of nowhere in the story. What are your qualifications? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What is your background? What even is your name? I don't even remember what his name is. Who the crap is he? And then, yeah, hold on. Try not to skip ahead here. We'll get to it as we get to it. Where was I? My notes got, like, really confusing in here. I don't know why I wrote it down on paper instead of on the computer. I didn't expect to write that many notes. And, like, they love to do that, too. Pathetic people leech off of him and then blame him when everything goes wrong. Like, the arrogance of arrogant people is unbelievable. But here is, okay, getting into the character of Xiaojie and why actually by the end of the drama I don't like him anymore. Like, not even remotely. I don't like him. I don't hate him, but I don't like him. And I'm going to tell you why. Because he cheated. This character cheated massively, again and again and again, repeatedly. And he just changed, and it was unjustified, and it wasn't fair. Spotlighting. Massive spotlighting. This is another trick of spotlighting. He went from 1 to 50 with no in between. And they claim it's all because he's so talented and he's such a quick learner. You know what? I am extremely talented and I am a very quick learner when it comes to playing the piano. I was told this multiple times the whole time I was taking piano lessons. It was proven fact. However, I was not capable of going from grade 1 to grade 10 at the drop of a hat. Within just a few weeks, that is what this character did. Just within a few weeks, just a couple of thingies, and he went from literally zero to knowing nothing about martial arts, about the martial arts world. He knew absolutely nothing. He was not even in grade 0. He was in kindergarten. Or whatever that grade is. He was in daycare, okay? He was so low. And just within a couple of weeks, all of a sudden, he's this big master at the whole thing. Like, it's completely cheating. It's completely wrong. I hate it when they do this with characters. Doesn't matter whether it's a girl or guy. I hate it when they cheat. It is not fair. They completely cheated. This is spotlighting, okay? He is the main character. He has to be the big hero. But oops, we started him so low and we only have so much time. So, cheat. Massive, massive cheat. And then on top of that, I kind of realized this in episode 10, when I paused it in episode 10 and went to do some stuff and came back to it. I realized this is one of the big reasons why I don't like him either. On top of constantly being spotlighted and cheating, also, he's an incredibly, ridiculously unreliable character. He is so unreliable. He is either on a reckless high, or he's on an immobilized low. He's completely useless in both states. Or... and if he isn't on a reckless high or an immobilized low, he's cheating. He's completely not who he was at the beginning because it's just cheating. It's like a glow up or something. Like when a character goes from immature to being a mature adult. And he's like goofing off and being ridiculous and all the rest of that stuff. Total immature, almost a little brat like at the beginning of the whatever it is. And then all of a sudden he's so mature and so wise. And he knows everything. I'm like, you can't do that. I know that certain circumstances in life do make you kind of grow up all of a sudden. But so many of these dramas, they just portray it so wrong. They did something so wrong with his character. They just cheated so much that it just makes me mad. It's completely unbelievable. It just makes me mad and it makes me dislike him. I don't like him because of this. And then, Lynn, by the way, does not have enough of a reason to like Zed this much. As much as I love how they portray Xiaojie and Yao's relationship, and how good it was, and how much I complimented it for the first 6 episodes in my first response video, Lynn and Zed, exact opposite. They've got no reason. There's no reason within this drama to justify her all of a sudden being so in love with him. It doesn't make sense. It's dumb. And, okay, I told you there's spoilers all through this thing because it's walkthrough, right? The end of episode 9. Oh my gosh. Well, that kiss was the most sudden thing ever. Just like, it is the first kiss in the drama, and just all of a sudden it happened, and I was like, whoa. It was cute and natural. Just very sudden. Just all of a sudden, blue. And then episode 10, that kiss is what the typical first kiss is like. That is hilarious that they switched them. That is too hilarious. Yeah. Going forward in episode 10. Where the crap did he stab him to make him not already dead? It is so convenient when and where and how people get stabbed and whatnot in these dramas. If it's just a throwaway and nobody, or they just want it to be over with, it's just like stab done. And then other times it's like, I swear you stabbed him in exactly the same spot. He should be dead already, and yet they have time for this long conversation before he actually dies. Anyway, moving on. And then, oh my word, no. Flips the table. Indoctrination complete. The crap was that. I loved Yawar, but that right there was absolutely so absurd. I don't even have time to break down and talk about it. That was stupid. Complete indoctrination takeover. She spent her whole life being told, I mean, they love to do this, where they're like, you are so grown up, you're an adult now, you're so mature now. That translates into meaning absolutely nothing, because they're an adult, but they're still not allowed to make any decisions whatsoever in their life. All the decisions are still dictated by their parents, or by whoever's in charge, or whatever. And then when she finally manages to prove that she's sincere and he really should love her, then something happens to take them out, and as soon as they're dead, there's a letter to prove that he understands and he's freeing her to do what she wants to do. But by this point, obviously, no, that doesn't matter. The indoctrination of her entire life is what matters more. She's the only one left. She must carry on the Water family. Therefore, she must do what her dad was telling her to do all along, because she has been wrong all along. She was being an unfilial girl, and she really does need to do what he told her to do all along, despite the fact that he changed his mind and said, go ahead and do what you want to do because I love you more. Never mind that part. No, what's more important now is that she do what he was trying to tell her to do all along, because he knows best, and he was right before. He was dumb to change his mind because he was right all along, and it was me that was wrong. I must listen to him now. Like, the crap. Not to mention how much she loves and adores Zhao Jie, and yet this moment right here proves how she has absolutely zero faith in him. The only reason she has to marry the other guy is because she has to live so she can carry on the Water family. If she loves Zhao Jie that much, she would have said, okay, I'm going to wait until this trial is over. If he does get the Holy Cauldron, then I will live. Because guess what? The Holy Cauldron can cure me. But no. She goes, no, I must carry on the family, and marrying Zed is the only way that can do that, is what my dad said, so that's what I'm going to do. No waiting. No trust or faith in Zhao Jie, who she supposedly loves. And then there was a total turnaround at the end of the drama. I wasn't there yet. Wasn't supposed to say that yet. That was episode 10. I wasn't even done yet, because how did any of them get there? Especially before Zhao Jie? All of a sudden they walk into the room and literally everybody's there. These bunch of brainless idiot dummies who know absolutely nothing and walked themselves right into an ambush because they were just playing follow the leader. All of a sudden, how did all of them know how to get here? Unless Zed led them there somehow. And they're all just sitting there like, they're all so smart and so cool. They all figured it out. I'm like, then why didn't you do this to begin with? What did you even follow him for? You can't do that. Come on, now you're doing another just turn around cheat. What on earth was all of that for if you were just going to go do this anyway? It's just... Further this went, the more it irritated me, okay? I told you, it was no good. It was no good by the end of it. No good. Episode 11. Spotlighting. Massive spotlighting. The only reason that Zhao Jie and Zed look smart at all is because everyone else is a complete, brainless, utter, pathetic, stereotypical idiot. There's no other way to say it. That is all they are. Stereotypical idiots without a brain at all. None of them have the emotional control above a toddler. None of them have a brain to think outside of anything aside from like eat, kill, sleep, repeat. Why? I was not interested in the slightest bit, like, in any of this competition thing. It finally started after the build-up of this thing, and then once it starts, everybody is so stupid, and everything that is happening is so stupid, and I was already so mad at Xiaojie, hating Zed, and all the rest of this kind of stuff, that I had zero interest. I was watching the entire thing. I would have watched the entire thing at 2 times speed if I could keep up with that much writing. I had to slow it down to 1.5 speed a few times, only because I couldn't read that fast. Otherwise, I would have watched the whole thing at 2 times speed. And I'm telling you, if this drama had been any shorter than 12 episodes, I would have dropped it. Because by this point, it's worthless. It just got so stupid. Episode 12, I had something. What was it right there? How does oil make killer number 2, make him killer number 2, when he's the one that killed killer number 1? Yeah, supposedly it's just because he had the oil on his hand, and Zhao Jie realized this when he touched his shoulder. That's how he realized that he was killer number 1. I'm like, how does that prove he was killer number 1? How can you, like, not say that he got that oil on his fingers when he killed killer number 2? I mean, there was a little bit of a skim quickly passed because he had to, at this point, suddenly realize it was him so that the big ending whatever could be so grand, because it wouldn't have been if he's considered him still a good guy. He had to become a bad guy so that it could be the face-off. Yeah. Absolutely everything about the final stage of the Holy Cauldron, too ridiculous to comment on. Pretty much everything about episode 12 was too ridiculous to have any comments on whatsoever. It's so ridiculous. I have no words for it. The only other thing I can mention is sore loser. Man, sore loser. Like, even the Japanese woman and the whole setup there and her fighting everybody, all of that was absolutely absurd. Talk about way overpowered. Although at the same time, I'm starting to wonder if all of these people that I was led to believe were all powerful and strong, the whole 5 elemental families. What power and strength? Literally all of you turned out to be absolutely pathetic. The further this show goes, the more pathetic they are. I'm not making this up. Go watch it for yourself. The further this show goes, every single one of them turns out to be absolutely pathetic. Even the only guy in this drama that I actually really liked all the way through to the end. He is literally the only one that I liked all the way through to the end. And even in places in this drama, he was a little bit pathetic. Kind of sort of useless. But he remained the only one I liked. And then I went and did that. I'm like, and then Zed shows up and calls this Japanese woman a clown. I'm like, all these virtuous and strong people you claim are in the 5 elemental families, where are they? Every single person that has faced her, hardly anybody actually showed up to face against her. Hardly anybody stepped forward, and in the ones that did, all lost. And she wasn't even cheating like Zhao Jie does when he shows up. She was using her full-on, actually legitimate, trained for, strength. And she was beating them, and then she's wounded, and she's still beating them, and he called her a clown. And she's somehow the pathetic one. I mean, when you're in enemy territory, man, you can't do anything right when you're in enemy territory. Sore loser. The Chinese guys, Zed and them, they're the sore losers. You guys were losing legitimately because of legitimate strength facing you, and you call her the clown. That was my notes. Yeah. Sorry. This drama for the first 6 episodes, if 5 is the maximum I usually give stars, because trying to give up to 10 is too confusing to me. I just keep it at 5. If, like, the first 6 episodes of this drama where you're, like, close to 4 stars, by the end of this drama, you get maybe 2. It was bad. It was so disappointing. It was so bad. And then Yar did that, where she's like, she literally pushed Zhao Jie away. Her dad dies, and she's like, I don't want to see Zhao Jie. Keep him away from me, because I'm going to marry Zed. And then, just because Zed all of a sudden says, let's break off the engagement, because I realize how wrong I am about everything. And then Zhao Jie shows up, and beats the Japanese woman. And Yao's like, yay, Zhao. I'm like, just, what was that for? What was it for? So many unresolved things, so many just switch around, so many what was that even for? There was no resolve to it, there was no talk through about it. There were so many things in this drama they did right. Even when he was saying, first of all, when she was supposed to go marry Zed and Zhao Jia found out about it, what he said to her in order to make her leave him alone and go to Zed instead. In so many of these dramas, they pull out that, I never actually loved you anyway. And I'm like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And yet they use it all the time in these dramas. It's so stupid that they fall for it, that they even use it. Never mind that they fall for it. In this one, he didn't. He respected the fact that it was honest and true, and he laid out a really good reason what he's dealing with and what she's dealing with and why this is might make more sense, etc. It was done so well, what he said there and everything, all of that part. And then Yawar just went ahead and did that, and then it just gets like as if they didn't do it. And I'm like, oh, low budget, too short of a drama. It ended with there's probably going to be more. It's totally open. There has to be more. It's finally over. Or is it just beginning? Yeah, anyway, if there is another season, I won't be watching it. This was so bad. It turned so bad so fast. Bye. I don't know what else to say, so I'll just end it there. Bye.
Who the heck were the 5 kings? Who are the thieves? And who the heck were the 5 kings?